And we are live, officially live. Welcome, everyone watching. This is an amazing day. We are officially launching six. That's right, you heard it. Six podcasts. We have everything right here from teenage phenoms to seasoned experts. And in the next half hour, you are going to be amazed at the stories you're about to hear. I am your host, John Katsavos from the Fitness Oracle. Also, today we have Tatiana Hotere. Hotere. I always get that name wrong from Crazy Grief Podcast. Garrett Maddie Seal from The Flowering Compass. Samantha Jane James from Rudy's Psychic Meetup with Samantha Jane. And Dr. Shaman, Dr. John Shaman from schamanMD. Everybody, welcome.
Thank
you. Being here. Thanks for having us, John.
Absolutely. So let's get started, shall we? So Tatiana, let's start with you. What is Crazy Grief all about?
Well, Crazy Grief is a podcast that I started because I wanted to have candid conversations about grief, provide some help that really helps, and just find a way to connect with people who are grieving and tell their stories, open up so that therapists, normal people can all talk about their perspective on grief. And I wanted to do that because my husband passed away 3 years ago, and it's been really tough for me. And so I think talking about grief, it's such a taboo kind of topic. So many people don't understand. They have their different ideas about grief, and grief is unique to each person. And I really wanted to explore that.
Awesome. So what led you to create Crazy Grief?
Well, I like to talk, but also I think I started a blog called Crazy Grief as well, and writing was really therapeutic for me. It was something that really helped me to process my grief, to find a way to cope with it, because grief can be really scary. It can make you feel like you're going crazy. It can affect so many areas of your life. One person dies and there's so many other things that you lose with them. And through blogging, through writing, I discovered that there was a lot of people that were reading my writings and they found comfort, or they found a connection, and they went, oh my God, me too. And from that, I had lots and lots of different conversations with people in the last 3 years and 3 months. Oh my gosh, 3 years and 3 months today that my husband died. I did have a really big cry before I get in here because it's still really hard, And so I decided to create Crazy Grief for a safe space where we can have candid conversations about grief and all the crazy stuff that goes with it.
Cool. So how many episodes are you launching with?
I got 8 episodes right now, but there are 2 just getting ready to be put in a platform.
Awesome. Can you list a couple of your highlights about your show?
I think starting getting people that I never thought that they would say yes to be interviewed, to be really excited about talking about grief, which is not an easy topic to talk about. And I felt really excited about getting out of the closet, because my very first episode, I had to go inside my closet, talking to the microphone on my computer, and just buy my microphone and putting my first episode out there was a real big highlight for me.
Awesome. And where can people find you?
Well, people can find me on my blog, my website, www.crazygrief.com. They can also listen to Crazy Grief podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor. Yeah, all the platforms. I'm there.
Great. And next we have the teenage phenom, Maddie Seal. Maddie, tell us about your show.
Well, I started a podcast called The Flowering Compass, a teen's journey to self-discovery. And it's about helping teens just kind of discover who they are and where they are on their path and their journey to self-discovery. And it's something that's really important to me because as a teen, I feel at times extremely lost and confused. And I was like, I like to talk, kind of like what Tatiana said, I like to talk. And I want to help people. I've always kind of wanted to help people. And so I wanted to get on and just talk to people about where they are at and what they've gone through and the lessons that they've learned, and what wisdom and stuff that they can impart on other teens. Because I think that there's a lot of valuable lessons we can learn from each other, and I think that's just a great way to also like create community, is to learn and build and help each other.
Absolutely. So tell us, what was the biggest source of resistance that you had during this course?
Definitely just like kind of getting on and interviewing people, because I find myself to be extremely awkward, or I would label myself as very awkward and kind of weird. So it was hard for me to kind of get on and ask people questions, because I would say things and I'd be like, oh, that sounds really weird or wrong. So that was just a big source of resistance, is like I didn't want to come off like I was weird, or I don't know. I was really scared to put myself out there and to say something wrong, because it's like you can't like edit it to a certain extent. You can't edit certain things, but you can't like edit every single word you say. So if I say something and it comes out a little like weird, I can't really edit it out. So that was really hard for me, is just to cope with the fact that if I say something wrong or weird, there's not much I can do about it.
Awesome. And how many episodes are you launching?
18, which is a lot.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. What are some of your highlights?
Just talking to people. I'm a people person. I love to talk to people. So it's been so neat just getting to reconnect with old friends and talk to new people. And I've made a new friend. I've made several new friends, and I've been able to reconnect with, old friends. And it's just been so nice talking to people. And I've just really enjoyed that. It's just people go through, like normal day-to-day people go through so much, and it's kind of insane, because it's like they're supposed to be just these normal people, but it's like when you really break it down, they're not. Like everyone is special and everyone's gone through something and faces their own challenges. So it's been so neat just to hear people's stories and what they've learned from it and the wisdoms that they can impart.
Awesome. And where can people find you?
I have an Instagram. So that's cool. It's the Flowering Compass _podcast. And then Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, any of those kind of places.
Perfect. And next, we have Samantha Jane James from Rudy's Psychic Meetup with Samantha Jane.
Thank
Samantha,
you, John.
welcome. So tell us a little bit more about your podcast.
Absolutely. Well, Rudy's Psychic Meetup is a podcast that I've taken from pre-recorded episodes of meetups that I have with Rudy on my Patreon channel. And we do these every second Wednesday. And the Psychic Meetup, sometimes we call it Woo Woo Wednesday. It began back in early 2019 as a way to discuss all things psychic, supernatural, and paranormal. That's what the woo woo means. And it originally grew from topics on my Discord channel, which is part of the Patreon benefits. So for those people who don't know what Discord is, it's just a channel that, you can download the app onto your phone, and I would have conversations with people on many different subjects. And we have different rooms such as, spiritual, psychic, those sorts of things, other than the cryptocurrencies, which is what the channel is normally about. But it's like literally we've combined crypto and woo-woo together. But this part is just the woo-woo. So the members would get together on a voice chat, and they'd share information about how they were trying to develop their intuition or psychic or mediumistic abilities. And as the participants began to share their stories, everyone quickly realized that some experiences that they might have figured were odd were actually shared by other members of the group. We have about 500 people on the channel right now. So for example, one member described how they closed their eyes while in a dark room. They could see colors and shapes and that were associated with energy. And then another described how they would get a flash or a picture right before something shocking happened, like dropping a glass and breaking it. And they'd learn if they do something to intervene, if they didn't do something to intervene, that, this would end up happening. So, a lot of these sort of discussions were taking place, and then it came up with, well, why don't we all get together and talk about this stuff through Crowdcast platform. And so we decided to make this a regular gathering where people could ask me questions about their experiences, and I'd provide my insight as a working medium about what was actually happening. And then we also use it as an opportunity for a deep dive on topics that come up in Discord or some of my live streams. So we've covered topics from guardian angels, UFOs, ghosts, haunted objects, Bigfoot, and other stories such as from the Bible. We've learned how loved ones on the other side may try to communicate with us in very subtle ways, such as placing a feather or a coin in an unlikely spot. So no subject is off limits. It's a very curious group of people who want to learn as much as they can about topics not commonly discussed with friends, families, or coworkers. And sometimes I'm even surprised at what comes out of my mouth when answering questions. You wouldn't believe what I found out about what the Great Pyramids of Egypt were originally built for. So you can join me on my podcast, and I also have it over on a YouTube channel that I opened up called Sam Jam Productions, and it's called Rudy's Psychic Meetup with Samantha Jane. And then, of course, those video edits are what is downloaded to Apple, iTunes, and Anchor, and a number of other different platforms for people who want to listen to me and Rudy and our gang on the go.
Awesome. And how many podcasts are we launching? How many episodes?
I have 8 up there right now, and I have 2 more that are ready to be loaded for later on today. So you can do a binge listen if you want.
Everybody loves binge listening. Next, we have Dr. John Shaman from schamanMD. Dr. John, tell us, what's schamanMD about?
Well, I should really tell you the story. I'm a bit unusual, I think, in that I have a rather bizarre reason for being here. A few months ago, I happened to tune into an interview with Brian Rose. Now, those in the audience that don't know Brian, he's sort of the founder of this broadcast yourself teaching mechanism, and I didn't know about it. And I had tuned into an interview with Brian because he was interviewing a medical doctor that I'd been following on social media somewhat, and I wanted to hear him speak. So I got on the mailing list. Then I received daily emails announcing the various speakers. And having had a medical practice for over 40 years and still working at a feverish pace, I rarely had the time to tune in. I did, however, tune in to one of Brian's more controversial speakers who spoke of his insights into COVID-19. I was impressed by the polish and the great oratory skills of this speaker. However, I was somewhat concerned regarding his message. I thought I would get a hold of Brian by email or by phone and have a chat to express my concerns as a medical doctor and scientist of so many decades. Unfortunately, the emails were never answered. I did, however, receive a call from a gentleman in the sales department who told me all about Broadcast Yourself and this workshop. I suddenly realized this is what I needed. My work in the field of cardiac rehabilitation and sports medicine involves a very large component relating to education and teaching. For probably 40 years, I've had patients telling me I should record my lectures, as they would find them interesting to send out to their relatives and friends. I always intended to do that. However, perfectionism and procrastination prevented me from getting started. And now with the pandemic and the fact that my 4-a-week cardiac lectures and group support sessions of my patients is impossible for pretty much half a year, I thought it would be just the right opportunity for me to learn how to broadcast myself. With 42 years of practice in a field where I was a pioneer, not including the 10 years of training, I've stored a lot of data and experience on the hard drive that is situated between my ears. I definitely would rather leave this behind and not take it with me when I reach my best before date. So, how's it been going so far? I've recorded 9 broadcasts, 8 of which are now posted on the usual podcast platforms. 2 of the 9 are solo casts, meaning that I'm speaking on my own without someone to interview. And in 7, I'm interviewing world-class experts in my field of work. I expect I will be doing something significant from the point of view of solo casts. However, I do look forward to bringing in, hopefully, some pretty prominent and exciting guests to the microphone. Thank you.
That's awesome. How many episodes are you launching with again? Sorry,
I have eight of them. Yes.
8 of them. Which one? Can you list some of the highlights? Part of from your show.
Well, if I look at the interviews that I've done, it's pretty hard to pick one that's better than another. They're all exceptional people, all world-class people that have a lot to tell us, and I hope that the audience will get some benefit from their wisdom and such. I really don't feel I can pick one over any of the others. Really, I think they're all good. Well, I might say that the one that comes to mind is a gentleman that I hadn't seen since 1984,
Nice.
and he was the coach of a swimmer that I looked after, and he coached, who won the gold medal in '84.
Nice.
And we had a chance to kind of relive some of those memories, and I guess that was kind of special.
That's good. Where can people find you?
Well, I'm on all of the usual platforms for podcasts. I also have a website, schamanMD.com, and another website, harmonicamd.com. Why that one? I've invented a medical harmonica, and hence I have a website that gives all of the resources for that.
All right, awesome. And finally, myself. Like I said before at the beginning of the show, my name is John Kutsavos. I am the owner of the Fitness Oracle. I designed the Fitness Oracle to reach out to people who are having a hard time and are feeling alone, by bringing on real people with real stories, not just prefabricated stories by fake people. The hardest thing that I had to do with this whole interview was this whole thing was actually interviewing people. Like, I had to bring on one person who I never knew. And I just and it actually led to one of the most amazing conversations that I've ever had, and potential business after it. Like, it was out of this world, like how it happened. I had no idea that he was going to say yes. He said yes within minutes, and next thing you know it, we have I have a great relationship with somebody in a different country. It's great. I am launching with 16 episodes as of today, with 7 more that are scheduled to be recorded by the end of this month. Some of the highlights I could say easily. I've been on two of the panelists' shows, and both of them have been fantastic conversations with 2 brilliant podcasters, Samantha Jane James and Tatiana Hotere. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Probably not. Probably not. Some other conversations that I had that stuck out was with a guy who dropped 230 pounds in 2 years, and another one, a lady who passed away and came back to life. I mean, there's so much, like Dr. John said, there's just so much. It's hard to pick one, but it was. I've been just blown away by the amount of people that are coming up and out. Where can you find me? I'm on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. My website's viofitness.ca. You can find all the podcasts there. And just in closing, I would like to thank everybody that came on to watch us talk about our podcasts. I know it means a lot to everybody here, to all the panelists. And today we listened to some very inspirational people. You are no different. If you want to find out more about one of these amazing podcasters, all their links have been in the link scrolling at the very bottom. Please subscribe and give them 5-star ratings to their podcasts on all platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Anchor, so we can keep pushing amazing content to you for you to consume. Remember, it's not about how much you can make, but the connections that you work on. Until next time, on behalf of Tatiana, Maddie, Samantha, Dr. John, and myself, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay awesome, people.